Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the new Chaser A31. Now, we reviewed the MK1 almost 2 years ago now, and that's been a very popular review. Many of you have been in contact, you're either thinking about buying it or you have bought it, and you've said how pleased you are with that case, and it still remains a very strong candidate in the Chaser series. But joining the series today is this smaller mid-tower, and amongst other things, it's available in black, white and the blue, which we've got here today. And it adopts this sort of middle of the road type of styling. It rather than unlike the MK1, which was predominantly for the gamer, this adopts middle of the road. So we've got between the gamer and the enthusiast, so sort of minimalist and the characteristics from the gamer style. So it is very unique, as you can see from that front panel and the way that side panel is designed. That of course has the perspex window, so that you can see inside your case, see what's going on inside. Now for the cooling, we've got a rear exhaust fan which is 120mm, and that is LED ready, so that's going to power a nice, when it's powered up, it's going to emit a nice blue glow. And then at the front we've got a 120mm which is an intake, so that traditional sort of airflow of coming in at the front and out at the back, so that's good to see. Hopefully that will give nice results when we've tested that and we've given it the thermal performance testing. So, real question is, will this complement the Chaser series? Right guys, we'll start then by taking a look at the front panel. As you can see here, we've got this plastic fascia, and we've got a total of 9 5 1/4 bay covers. Now there is actually only 3 bays at the very top, although there's numerous covers. And the good thing about these, you can actually take out each individual cover and you can take out the foam and clean it, because the lower section has a 120mm cooling fan behind it, and obviously with that being an intake, there is a tendency there for dust buildup because it's an intake and it builds up pressure. Now up at the top of this front panel, we have the front panel controls, and this gives us access to various different types of connectivity. The first of those is the power button, which has this aluminium type feel to it. We've got an activity LED, a reset button, the microphone and the headphone jacks there, and dual USB 3.0 ports. Now those are via the internal motherboard header. And then further back there we've got this nice little tray, and this is just to give you a little bit of a storage container if you want to drop in your keys, your USB or anything like that, so that's quite handy. Also at the top, just further back there, you can see we've got this ventilation panel. Now this is for heat dissipation. If you're going to drop in your case fans at the top, then this is obviously going to aid and assist with that. You don't get any pre-installed fans at the top with this case, but there is foam padding underneath there as a dust filter. Coming to the side panels on A31, we have the convex design on both side panels. Now on the prominent side, we've got this convex design just to allow a bit more clearance, but this is for the perspex window, whereas on the alternate side, the convex gives you a bit more clearance for cable management. So that perspex window is a nice idea. It gives you a bit of a preview inside your system. Perhaps you've got LED debug on your motherboard and you can actually see the code. You don't have to take your side panel off, which is sometimes a bit of an annoyance. To get this side panel off, we've got 2 thumb screws on either side, and the design is such that the thumb screw actually stays attached to the side panel, which is a really handy idea, because obviously if you do take your side panel off, you take your thumb screws out, there is a tendency to misplace them and perhaps lose them. So with those unscrewed, we can take the side panel off, and that's fairly sturdy, and that gives you a preview of the system that we've got installed there. That's our ATX test system, and you can see the clearance and the cable management options that you've got inside there. Okay, we're now going to move inside the case for a good look at all the features, and we'll start by taking a look at the power supply unit. Underneath that power supply unit, unfortunately, we don't have any anti-vibration padding, and obviously that's going to prevent the vibrations, but also it prevents scratching too, because obviously your power supply is metal, your case is metal, and there's going to be a tendency there for things to scratch. Nevertheless, we do have a removable filter. You can see there, you can pull that out from the back, and you can take that out and clean it. And obviously that's really handy to have that in that sort of fashion, because otherwise you would need to turn the case on its side and you'd need to take it out, and that would be a bit inconvenient really. You can see there also it covers that slot there because you can mount a 120mm fan at the bottom. Above this we have 7 PCI expansion slot covers, and those are for obviously your dual graphics cards. They come with the ventilation for better airflow, but unfortunately we don't have the thumb screws. Going to need a standard sort of screwdriver to unscrew those. And then to the side we've got a bit more ventilation, and then we've got 2 rubber grommets. At the back of A31 we've got a 120mm rear exhaust fan, and that is LED ready. It's going to emit a nice blue glow when it's powered up, and it operates at around 1000 RPM. Now at the top we've got space there for dual 120mm fans or dual 140s, and we can also drop in your self-contained liquid coolers, you know, like your Corsair H100 or your Water 2.0. Those thin radiators do fit at the top, but your thicker type of radiator will not fit up there. Over at the front of the case, as we've previously mentioned, we've got 3 5¼ bays. Each of these has a toolless design mechanism for getting your drives in and out really easy. All you need to do is drop your drive in and simply press your button in, and that fixes 2 pins into your drive and fixes it in place. For hard drive storage we've got 2 cages, and in each cage we can drop in 3 drives. That gives you a total of 6 different options. You can see on the upper hard drive cage we've got 2 thumb screws. You remove those, you can actually take out that upper hard drive cage, giving you a bit more extension for your longer graphics cards, a bit more clearance, and if you want to free up some airflow for that fan, that's a good idea. Now I'll just take this out and show you what you've got. Basically I've got a 3.5-inch drive in there, you can see. Don't even need any screws in that. It just simply drops in and there's pins on the sides. That's nice. If you've got a 2.5-inch drive, all you need to do is drop it into this cage and drop in some screws on the underside. Dead simple. And obviously that gives you hassle-free sort of option for getting your hard drive storage in there, and it's quite robust as well. Now hardware clearance is vital when you're deciding what case to buy, as obviously this determines what you can fit inside and what you can't. And I get a lot of questions asking, can you fit this graphics card in this case? Can you fit the CPU cooler in this case? And we're going to answer exactly what you can fit inside A31 right now. I'm going to show you the graphics card to start with, and we've got the XFX 7970 DD version. You can see there we've got approximately 10.5 inches in length on that one, and we've got a total, with that hard drive cage intact there, 11 inches before it touches. Do bear in mind though, you need to check if your card has got the connectors on the very end. You need to take that into account. But we've also got the option of taking that hard drive cage out, that upper one, and you've got an unlimited amount of clearance for anything currently on the market. CPU cooler clearance is rather tight there. You can see we've got the Noctua NH-U12P, which is 158mm in height, and we can get away with 160, so that does cover Noctua NH-D14 and Thermaltake Silver. Some of the popular ones that are around 160 will fit inside here. Clearance between the back of the motherboard tray and the side panel offers you approximately 1.5 centimeters, and don't forget you also get a little bit extra clearance on that convex side panel. And with that clearance, the rubber grommets, the hooks, the ingredients are all there for great cable management. Thermaltake have also given A31 a cutout at the top of the tray just for routing that CPU power cable, so that you can keep everything nice and tidy. Last of all then, we're just going to show you how loud the case fans are inside A31. Now this is just going to be a rough sort of estimate, get you the mic as close to those fans as possible. At the back we've got a 120mm rear exhaust, which is going to operate at around 1000 RPM. At the front we've got the same sort of fan, except it is an LED. We've got a 120mm intake, and that's around 1000 RPM as well. So we'll power the system up. Right guys, well that completes our look at the A31. What I really find interesting with this case is the fact that it's so vastly different from the MK1, yet it's in the same series. A31 is of course very distinct in its styling. Thermaltake have really designed a very unique sort of design with this. I really like what they've done. Available in 3 different colours, we've got the black, the white and the blue. We've obviously got the black version here, which we've taken a look at in the written review on Vortez.net. If you go over there, you can see the differences with these cases. But with the blue, I really do like this, the striking visual appearance of it. The inside is powder coated black, and then we've got the blue on the outside. Two-tone just really coordinate very well. And of course, like our test rig, if you've got the motherboard heat sinks which are blue, and you've got memory which is blue, your graphics card, you can really get a nice sort of scheme going, coordinate things very well with that. And of course, inside, clearance is very good. Long graphics cards are accommodated inside here. You can house big CPU coolers. Go for the liquid coolers up at the top if you've wanting to go for the liquid cooling route. And of course, the cable management is spot on as well. You know, the clearance behind the tray and all the grommets and the different hooks, the options and that. Now, there are some areas for improvement, as you may well have picked up as we've gone through. The feet, which I didn't actually mention, are plastic. There isn't any rubber there. That would have been nice to see that. Power supply, no rubber there. And the screws for the PCI Express, they're not thumb screws, they're just standard screws. You know, that's not going to discourage you from buying the case, but just a few areas for perhaps improving. Now, it's not currently on the market so far as the UK anyway, but we're expecting it to be around £75. May well be a little bit more, may well be a little bit less, but fairly reasonable for a case of this stature. Now, if you want to check out the thermal performance, shoot over to Vortez.net. There's a link in the description, and you'll be able to see the thermal performance there against different cases in that sort of range, and gives you an idea for what the case fans are capable of inside here. Obviously, we've got the traditional airflow placements, so it is reasonably good. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen anyway today. If you carry on following us, you know, subscribe, like the video, or drop in a comment below, we would appreciate that, and I shall see you soon.